At GroupEAD, we know that old ways won't open new doors, and our mission from the start has been to be a leader. As the only AIM service provider offering centralized services, we are unique.
Born in 2001,
GroupEAD operates the world's largest aeronautical database, which currently has 200 EAD data users, 49 EAD data providers, and over 25,000 EAD basic users. And when it comes to investing in your most valuable asset, choosing the GroupEAD AIM Training Academy gives you the confidence in selecting the only fully dedicated and specialized worldwide AIM training provider. With over 40 different trainings available, provided in 7 different languages, our highly qualified AIS experts have trained over 8,700 people from more than 100 international organizations, while consistently achieving satisfaction rates beyond 98%. GroupEAD offers a wide range of practical application-based consultancy services, from AIS to AIM migrations to quality system implementation and procedure design services. We offer our knowledge and expertise to assist you in the development and implementation of specialized systems, optimizing operational procedures, and ensuring compliance with international regulations. Our team of consultants continuously tracks the latest developments in their fields of expertise at the regional and international levels, ensuring a perfect fit for your specific company at the business level, regional level, and international integration with neighbors. We are fully committed to AIM, offering a wide spectrum of data services, including migration and management, conversion from AIXM 4.5 to 5.1, NOTAM service, contingency service, and service desk support. We are the leader in AIM services, with more than 17 years of experience in the market and having worked with hundreds of clients all over the world. GroupEAD, where information takes flight.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good day for everyone. To all those who are participating in this webinar event. This is actually the second webinar of this new format that we have for the AIM Builder webinar, as we call it. Thank you very much for attending to this opportunity. Today, we have a fantastic subject. We're going to talk about implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond. Many of you might be wondering, okay, I'm in the transition from AIS to AIM, and now there are some guys coming with AIM 1.0, 2.0 and beyond. So today is the day where we're going to try to explain you what are the differences in this, and more important, we have an important discussion. So I hope you can see my presentation. If not, I believe that my colleagues who are supporting me can help me out. So what we have prepared for this webinar, as usual, in this new format, we're going to bring you some of the news of the AIM world, the recent news that we have in the AIM. So we hope that you find this informative. We also are bringing a video from a sponsor, which is actually GroupEAD, together with ITV and Ask for Future, 2 consultant companies who are in leaders in the AIM world. We'll show you a video which is actually also related to AIM 2.0 and beyond. Obviously, we bring also kind of a lecture, a brief presentation about implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond, especially what are the differences between AIS, AIM 1.0, AIM 2.0, and some others that we have thought, that we have designed, and that we are expecting actually to hear from you. What do you think about this? What do you think about this new ideas of versions or stages of AIM? In addition, we have an important panel today with Mr. Peter Rudolph from Ask for Future, and also with Mr. Roland Baumann from ITV Consultant. Together with them, we're going to debate a little bit about how they see, how we see these different stages, and what's more important, what are the obstacles, what are the challenges, and what's the best way of implementing all these different stages. Yeah, many things are expected for the future, and we believe that this information will help us to clear the way, to clarify some of the doubts. Yeah. Also, we have the opportunity to provide a tip, a very brief advice from our side in regards to implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond. And we have some announcements. And one of these announcements, it's actually we're going to announce here who are the winners of our last IFA-IMA event raffle. For those of you who are following, you might remember that in the IFA-IMA raffle, in the IFA-IMA event, sorry, we also participated with the same subject that we are now giving a little bit more details in this webinar presentation. And there we also promised that we were going to send you a gift, and a very nice gift. So at the end of the webinar, please bear with us. This might take us a little bit more than an hour, but you won't regret, because we will announce who are the winners of our last IFA-IMA event and what's actually the prize, which is more important. You will see, and we believe that you will like this. With this, thank you very much for participating in our event. I will just show you, or make my colleague, a presenter, to show us a video, and we'll come back in a second. Oliver, can you run the video, please? Thank you very much, Oliver. Thank you. Yes, my name is Henry Cáceres. Probably we've met somewhere in some events, or you have seen some of the webinars. You know probably that this is organized by GroupEAD. My company, our mission is to support the AIS units all over the world in the transformation of their conventional AIS into a truly digital AIM. We have more than 18 years of experience running the EAD, and with this, we believe that we can support you. So I would appreciate if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, if you share this video, or even if you comment. Yeah, we would really appreciate. We would really like to create a link of communication with all the AIM community around the world. And you can write to us either to events@groupead.com or to info@groupead.com, and we will be happy to receive your questions, your comments, your doubts, etc. So thank you very much for attending to this webinar. We believe that we bring in very important content this day, and we will start now with the first with some recommendations for the participants. Note that the conference is being recorded. This video will be presented in our GoToWebinar channel and also in our YouTube channel that you can search us for AIM Builder. You will find there that we have some videos, including some other webinars from the past, if you want to catch up with us. Also, your webcams will not be available. Unfortunately, we are not able to have this time of bilateral communication. Your microphones will also be muted, but they can be activated in case you have a question. So please, if we want this to be very dynamic, so don't hesitate to write us any question in the question panel there, or to raise your hand when we are in the panel discussion for raising your question. Yeah, we will be able to unmute you, and then you can come live and speak to us and ask your question. Additionally, as I mentioned before, please use the question and answer interface in case you want to ask us a question, or ask our guests a question. We will be happy to come back to these questions later and answer them. Also, we have many posts during the day. Actually, this day is one of these webinars where we have a lot of posts, because we really want to interact with the community. We really want to interact with you. So you will find the options there in your screen. Then we will really appreciate if you can help us by checking what is the correct answer according to your situation or knowledge or experience. And at the end of the webinar, we would also appreciate if you fill in a survey for us, which will support us for improving this format, this webinar, and also to bring you more content and information that might be of support for your organization or your professional development. With this, we start with the first part of the day, and I will ask my colleague Oliver, who appear in the screen. Okay, thank you, Oliver. I see that the poll is already there. So I would appreciate if you all please start answering. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. So the first poll today is, what is your current working area within your organization? There are 5 options to choose from: AIM management, AIM operations, AIM support, AIM industry, and others. We really appreciate your participation in our polls. So I see, Henry, that already more than 50% has voted. I will still give you 10 more seconds to vote, and then we'll close the poll and have a look at the results.
Very good. Thank you very much to all the attendees.
And now we're seeing the results on screen. We see that the vast majority comes from AIM operations, with more than 1/3 of the attendees. And the second most voted options is the AIM management.
Great, thank you very much, Oliver, for this. It's interesting to see the people who are participating today. Thanks again for this. And okay, and continuing with our format, which is about sections. Oliver, could you please run the video for the first section of the day, which is actually the AIM news, the latest AIM news.
Right away.
Thank you very much, Henry, and these are the latest and more relevant news in the AIM world. ICAO has organized a series of webinars with the intention of running a global campaign in NOTAM improvement, with the collaboration and follow-up of the 7 regional offices and the AIM community in general. The first progress webinar held on the 16th of June showed that the NOTAM offices around the world are making good efforts to support this campaign, with a general decrease of very old NOTAM on around 15% and a light decrease on old NOTAM of less than 1%. The regional offices also provided more detailed information of their progress, actions and initiatives, including a list of top needed improvement NOTAM offices and also a list of top best performing administrations in their respective regions. We also had the opportunity to see a success story from Chile NOTAM office, which is currently one of the countries with better results for this campaign, and what were the actions and strategy they followed for their great success. Congratulations to Chile and to all those NOTAM offices around the world collaborating with this campaign. We know that only by a common approach and joining efforts we can make this important goal a reality. Don't miss the next progress webinar, already scheduled for the 31st of August. IFAIMA organized a virtual global AIM conference on the 25th and 26th of May with a variety of subjects, speakers and panel discussions with key actors from the AIM world, including service providers, regulatories, and the industry. The slogan this time was AIS continuing the journey of digital transformation. And in consequence, the focus was on the ongoing efforts for digitalization of the AIM services and the required regulatory framework. GroupEAD had the opportunity to participate with a presentation titled Digitalization of the AIM Staff Through Training, with an insightful message on the role of the AIM staff in the digitalization process, the new training methods, the challenges, and the solutions for moving forward. In addition, GroupEAD teamed up with two important industry players of the AIM community, ITV Consult and ASPU for Future, in a joint efforts of bringing a common message with the perspective of implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond, which was exactly the basis and the motivation for today's webinar, with the whole intention to bring the AIM community more details, hints, and a more practical guidance on how to reach this goal. The next Global AIM conference is planned next year on the 24th to 26th of May, and this time hopefully meeting in person and fully recovered from the current challenges. Eurocontrol recently published the Terrain and Obstacle Data Manual Edition 3.0. This manual is intended to be used by those bodies involved in the origination, processing, and provision of electronic terrain and obstacle data. From the point at which the need for origination is identified through to the point when the state makes it available in accordance with the requirements of ICAO Annex 15. The document seeks to provide the necessary guidance for a range of stakeholders, from those defining the project and undertaking budgetary costing to those who are responsible for the capture of the data. We invite you to download, check out the document, and see how it can support your organization in the implementation of terrain and obstacle data. Eurocontrol also made available online supporting material for the ICAO aerodrome mapping datasets. This supporting material is intended to facilitate the provision of aerodrome mapping data encoded in AIXM 5.1.1. The goal is to address AIXM-enabled applications and facilitate data translations with geographic information system solutions based on AMDB requirements. Harmonized digitalization of aerodrome mapping data contributes to overall interoperability in the context of system-wide information management-enabled applications and the deployment of digital information services. DECA, the Brazilian Department of Airspace Control, has become the first South American air navigation service provider to join EAD, the European Aeronautical Information Service Database Network. The international NOTAM service provides airspace users with a single direct access point to NOTAM, SNOTAM, and ASHTAM through a user-friendly graphical user interface for consultation and for flight briefing purposes. DECA's move to join EAD comes at a time of international efforts by ICAO to raise awareness of the importance of regularly updated NOTAMs, with pilots, dispatchers, and aircraft operators often struggling to retrieve operationally significant information out of an increasing number of NOTAMs that do not adhere to international standards and recommended practices.
All right. Thanks to our colleague Judith for recording his sweet voice for these videos, for these AIM news. We hope that you have enjoyed that we are compiling from time to time all the relevant, the more relevant news in the AIM world. So we continue with our webinar, and then our next section, it's actually our AIM sponsor, which is actually the video I mentioned that we developed together with ITV and ASBU for Future for the FAIMA event, which is actually kind of an introduction of the subject that we're going to discuss today, which is about implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond. So I will just ask my colleague Oliver to run the video, please, and see you soon.
During the last decade, the global AIS community undertook the most important transformation of aeronautical information since the inception of the service back in 1953, having as the main result an important improvement of the quality of the conventional aeronautical information products supported by databases, but also with an early vision of a future digital data and information service provision for the next intended users. This evolution has required a lot of effort and resources from the global AIS community, and we are now witnessing good progresses and results. But from our perspective, this journey has just started, and we must prepare for a continuous climb towards cruising level AIM 2.0 and beyond.
We started a long journey more than a decade ago with the introduction of the AIM concept. In GroupEAD, we have supported many customers all over the world with the implementation of AIM 1.0 in their organizations. And although there is still some work to do, the excellent results so far make us feel confident that we are now ready to accept new challenges and the benefit of aeronautical information and aviation in general.
The concept of AIM 2.0 was first introduced in 2019 in the Global AIM Conference in Tunis, where data exchange in a swim environment is the main objective. The event was a success, and the community accepted the new challenges with a strong commitment for collaboration and moving forward with this new goal.
To implement AIM 2.0 and beyond, it is important to address the whole aeronautical data chain, from data origination to information provision. ITV Consult supports customers to address all aspects related to the digitalization of the aeronautical data chain. We engage with all involved parties and encourage the state to establish the required legal framework. Addressing all these aspects are key for integration of aeronautical information into the global ATM environment.
We have learned during the last years that digitalization is not a wish for the future anymore, but a real necessity right now for every industry. This is then a great opportunity for AIM to take advantage of the lessons learned during these years of transition from AIS to AIM and start already visualizing what will come next for aeronautical information.
We in A4F have always supported the concept from AIS to AIM by contributing to ICAO and to pave the way for an uninterrupted electronic aeronautical data chain. For AIM 2.0 and beyond, we concentrate on enhanced data management and data centricity. This will enable us to take advantage of swim-based information services.
ITV Consult, ASBU for Future and GroupEAD have teamed up in order to transmit a common message demonstrating that as industry partners, we share the same spirit to support the AIS community in reaching their goals towards AIM 2.0 and beyond. We are all together in the same flight, reaching each cruising level with commitment and collaboration spirit, and it is our responsibility to make sure a safe arrival for everyone to our final destination.
Okay, welcome back. I hope that you have enjoyed our video. Note that this is kind of an introduction to the subject that we're going to discuss today, which is this implementing AIM 2.0 and beyond. We recognize that we have gone through many work. We have put a lot of effort during the last decade in this transition from AIS to AIM, but this is only the starting. Yeah, it's only the starting point, and then we must look now for what's next. And together with our colleagues who will have the opportunity today to debate, Peter and Roland, we are going to bring you more information on what is this change, right? And why we are categorizing now the transition from AIS to AIM, which was actually initially as an idea of IFAIMA in the last Congress that we did in 2018. So now we will continue with our sections, and today I will explain a little bit in the AIM lecture of the day what are the differences of these implementing or these different stages of AIS from AIM 2.10, 2.0, 3.0, and even 4.0. So as I said before, the transition into AIM was only the beginning. Yeah, many of you have been working hard in order to fulfill all the different steps of this transition from AIS to AIM, according to the roadmap developed by ICAO more than 10 years ago. And that has driven us in our pursuit of moving forward in digitalization of AIM and improving the services, but this is not it. Yeah, this is our view. I must say that this view that you see there, it's not an official view by ICAO right now. It's only an official view, a view driven by the industry. And more important here, the IFAIMA organization, who was actually bringing the first two stages, AIM 1.0 and 2.0. I will give more details about it. And then together with Roland and Peter from Us for Future and ITV, we've come with these other two stages, 3.0 and 4.0, because they represent also a big change in comparison to the concepts and technologies or ways of working that we have in the previous ones. So I will go one by one to show you what are the differences between these stages. This will support us because later we're going to debate together with Peter and Rudolph and Peter and Roland about this. Please, any question that you might have, don't forget to use the question and answer panel, or we're going to give you the opportunity to come also on air, and then also you will have the opportunity to make your question live. So AIS, we all know AIS. As you see there, the main characteristic was that AIS was product-centric. I will quickly go through some of these characteristics. First of all, and according to a new level of automation that we will see soon in document 8126, ICAO has also categorized the level of automation, but from the point of view of the systems. So the first level of automation is level 0, meaning manual, and this is a characteristic in the AIS stages. Then the products that we have for AIS are the typical ones, AIP, charts, NOTAMs, and also it's represented by a manual processing of these AIP charts and NOTAM. You know, perhaps using some word processors or some using AFTN, etc. Yeah, this is a characteristic of AIS. Also, the distribution, the way that we distribute our products are actually paper for the AIP and charts, and AFS we use for NOTAMs. So the concepts that prevailed in this stage is actually at the couple of the AIS units, like the different units of the AIM departments, publications, NOTAM, or charting. They work isolated and they don't have a common centralized database. This is one of the concepts here. And also that they are in a constant pursuit of implementing, but not maintaining, implementing a quality management system. The main references are, of course, our ICAO documents, the Annex 15 and document 8126. but the previous versions, the edition 13 and the edition 6 for the document 8126. We're talking about a period in the past before 2013. So if we go to AIM 1.0, we change now the focus, and now we can say that we're moving from from product-centric to data management. And if you see there the little icon there, what we have, it's actually the database, a database, and this single database, it's allowing me to create a series of tasks. And this is the main characteristic in AIM 1.0. It's when we have an implementation of a database, and with this database, we're creating our conventional products. We're creating the AIP, we're creating the charts, and we are validating even the notes. This is 1.0, where we are making use, taking advantage of a database, a system implementation in order to support us with the creation of the products. According to ICAO, this corresponds to level 1 of automation, meaning data-centric. And the products that we are going to, the characteristic for the products are, now we are talking about electronic AIPs, we're talking about electronic charts, and we can also have electronic terrain and obstacle data. And all these products are produced in a semi-automatic way, yeah, meaning that we have our database that supports us in the creation of our products. The distribution changes a bit here because it's not anymore paper and AFS, but now we are able to put some things in the web, to use CDs and PDF, etc. We are really modernizing here the way we are working, yeah, using a centralized database. The main references, of course, are Annex 15, Edition 15, and also Document 8126, Edition 6. And very important here, because in this stage, we were also driven by this important document, which is the roadmap for the transition from AIS to AIM, developed in 2010, which has supported us and given us a guideline on how we are supposed, and the different steps and stages that we are supposed to have in order to reach this AIM 1.0. Some other concepts are databases, data validation. We are now here involved with this. We are dealing with data, we're dealing with software, and this software is supporting us in the creation of our products. And the period that we see here, it's actually from 2013, meaning from AIS, to 2018. So that means that most of you should be also in this stage. If you are not here yet, don't worry, we're going to give you some ideas, and you're still you are a little bit late, but still many things can be done in order to support you. So just let us know in the comments or send us a mail, and then we can support you to reach these stages. What about AIM 2.0? And this is the new concept introduced in the last IFA-IMA event, yeah? And now we see here data-centric, but if you see the picture, what we see, it's a database connected with other databases. And this is a different level, a level that we didn't see in the previous one, which was only using a database for the creation of our products. But now it's the database communicating with more databases, meaning that we are exchanging, instead of our conventional products, we are exchanging data. So the main characteristics here are that the level automation, according to ICAO, it's automated workflow, not level 2. Now here we're talking about digital data sets, digital nota. Yeah, we come from the electronic AIP, electronic chart, but now we want to exchange digital data, and this is the important thing here. And the way that we are distributing the information is not paper, is not CD or web anymore, but now we're talking about AIXM or digital terrain models, or more generic data services, which is actually the channel that we're going to have in the future with our users. Instead of providing the aeronautical information in a already produced and elaborated format like the AIP, we're going to have data services. And to this data service, the users are going to connect, and they're going to pull, they're going to extract the data that they need. The prevailing concepts here are, of course, digital data exchange, and also we take care of the quality, but more for the data quality. Yeah, we want to assure the data quality. Remember that at the beginning we were implementing the quality management system. Now when we have processes, now we need to go to the specific quality of the data in order to assure that they are of enough quality. Some references here. Now we have more players, our Annex 15, edition 16, document 8126, which we're still waiting for the new version, which will further support us in this stage. But we have the PANS-AIM as well, because this is a new document in 2018, and also some other documents created by the industry like EuroCai and also by ICAO about the Global Air Navigation Plan, and specific this in regards to ASBU, which are the the methodology for reaching these objectives from ICAO. And we're talking about the block 1 of digital AIM. If you are not familiar with this, you can check out one of the webinars that we had last year about the digital data sets and how they are related to the different ASBU objectives. Yeah. And the period we're talking about is actually right now, where we are, 2019 to 2024, according to this ASBU methodology. You need to catch up in case you are not here, but note that the digital exchange of information, it's actually the main characteristic here and where we need to focus. I will go very quick through AIM 3.0 and AIM 4.0 because obviously we are not prepared there. This is only a concept, but it will be important to know what is your opinion. So let us know in your questions, your comments, what do you think about this? That will be actually the evolution of AIM 2.0, the current state where we are right now. So AIM 3.0, we're talking now about a service integration. And this is, according to ICAO, in level of automation 3, full AIM integration, where our data will contain the typical information that that we are used to provide in AIPs and NOTAMs, but also will be enhanced. And how enhanced? Because it will be covering actually some network information that we don't cover right now in AIM. Also the UTM, the drones, the unmanned air traffic management, that would be also included in this AIM 3.0, and also higher airspace. We're talking about the typical flight levels that planes used to fly for airspaces, crafts, right? Like the typical, these above the typical airspace. So there are going to be operations in this. So in a way that all the space, actually the airspace is really covered from lower layers by drones, then middle layers by commercial flights, and then the higher airspace by some of these spacecrafts. The distribution changes a bit now. Now we're talking about a stream environment with all the different technologies, where we find 2 more companions there together with AIM, meteorological and flight and flow information, and also some other characteristics and technologies like service-oriented architecture and web services. Yeah, so we're going one step beyond, and the concepts here will be that we're going to provide a data on request. The user will be able to manage the data. They will create, they will transform this data in whatever product they want. And the main references will continue being ICAO, of course. All these documents, Annex 15, document 8126, and PANS-AIM, they need to be updated to be in line with these new requirements. And according to ASBU, we will be in block 2 in the period 2025 to 2030. All right, and last but not least, we have service virtualization for AIM 4.0. And as you see, now that the data is there in the cloud somewhere, we can talk about virtualization. This will continue being the level 3 of automation by ICAO, full AIM integration. And the products that we will be providing here are of course, data services. And we're going to cover the full aeronautical information domain. Yeah, so data will be the main characteristic, the main product here. We don't know yet, but the AIP will be inevitably will need to be transformed or even disappear. We don't know if in 15 years, in 20 or 25, we don't know yet. But there will be a point in time where only data will be provided by the different AIS units around the world. And the distribution will be whatever we have new, like stream services, AIM, service-oriented architecture, web services. And we will also be providing here data air to ground, meaning that the planes will be able to send us information, and probably in a future stage we will also able to send our aeronautical information directly to the plane. So here we're talking about data service provisions, not product provision, but data service providers, virtualization. Again, the main references will be ICAO, and we might also expect that ASBU in their objectives will cover this in the block 3 of their planning. So the period here that we're talking, it's too far in the future, maybe 15 years or so, we're going to be able to see this. But it's important. So it's important that we have a view of what's coming, a view of what could be the possibilities, because as I mentioned at the beginning, the transition from AIS to AIM was only the beginning. And this is something that we can't, unfortunately, for some, stop. We cannot stop this. It's a trend, and it's not a tendency which is only for aeronautical information, but it's for all the different domains. You know, everybody's been going through this process of digitalization, and of course, one of important service in aviation, which is aeronautical information, should also go to this process. So with this, we are now ready to go to the first of 3 polls here. Can I please ask the support of my colleague Oliver? And see you later.
Right, Henry. So we have the first poll on screen. What defines best AIM 1.0? And we have 3 options here: full data services, artificial intelligence, or semi-automatic production. So I see this slightly, the number is increasing. Now more than 50% already voted. I will give you still 10 minutes, so if you want to participate in the poll, please hurry up. And time's up. So I will share now the results with the audience. So we see that the majority selected semi-automatic production.
Very good, and this is actually the correct answer for what defines best AIM 1.0.
Correct.
Thank you.
So we move next to the next poll. What defines best AIM 2.0? And we have 3 options again, 1 to choose from: manual processing, digital data exchange, or virtualization. So again, we have more than 50% that voted. I will give you 10 more seconds. So if you want to vote, please hurry up. And time's up. Sharing the results. So everyone got this correct, right, Henry? Digital data exchange is the one that defines best AIM 2.0.
Exactly, and this is the current stage where we are right now, and I'm happy to see that all the people, we are all in line of what's expected in this stage of AIM 2.0. Thank you.
And then let's go for the last one for now. In what stage of AIM do you think your organization is currently at? AIS, AIM 1.0, AIM 2.0, AIM 3.0, or AIM 4.0? here again, we have already more than 50% voted. I will give you 10 more seconds. And time is up. I am sharing the results with you. So we see that the majority, more than 50%, is at AIM 1.0.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Oliver, for the support. Thank you very much, everyone, for your participation in this poll. It's really important to see what is the level that we have among the community. And it's important to see, obviously, that we're all in AIS, AIM 1.0 or 2.0. Yeah, we are not yet in 3.0 or 4.0. But anyhow, it's okay. Oliver, I believe that I still see the poll. Can you please just stop? Can you confirm that I don't see? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so thanks for these. Thanks for your answers. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the next section of our webinar, which is an AIM panel, where I have introduced already that the guests invited that we're going to have today. Mr. Peter Rudolph, he is the managing director of ASBU for Future, and I would ask him already to start showing on screen while I'm introducing him. And we have the opportunity to have met in some events around the world, and I have the pleasure to introduce him today. He has a diploma of air navigation services and aviation electronic. He has a lot of expertise and experience, more than 19 years of experience working with ANSPs, AIS, and ETC, and around 30 years of experience in the aerospace industry. He has worked for many organizations like the German ANSP, German Aerospace Industry, but he's running now his company. He's the managing director of ASBU for Future, which, as you can see by its name, it's supporting all the organizations in consulting activities and some of the projects for reaching these objectives by ICAO on the ASBU strategy. Last but not least, Mr. Peter has participating actively in a lot of different forums of discussions like ICAO Information Management Panel, the IMP. He is also participating in supporting ICAO in the APAC and European region, and also in Eurocontrol. So, Peter, it's my pleasure to have you here today. He's also passionate about Lake Constance. Thank you very much for attending. Oh, we don't hear you. Can you?
Yes, sorry. I switched me off, I think, right? So, yeah, thank you, Henry, and greetings from Germany, and thank you very much for inviting me. And yeah, I'm looking forward. Maybe we can have a little discussion in the final proceedings here in your webinar. So quite interesting so far. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for attending. So now it's my opportunity to ask Mr. Roland Baumann to appear on screen. He's a senior consultant in ITV Consult Company. We've met also in many occasions around the world, and I'm happy to introduce him today. He has a Master of Science in Earth and Geosciences, and he has also a wide experience and expertise working in different organizations, even in training in meteorology, more than 11 years, and also in aviation with more sensing for 6 years, but more importantly in AIS to AIM for around 20 years or so. He looks young, but he has a lot of experience, so don't be disguised by this. He's working for ITV Consult for some time right now, but he's worked for many other organizations like Meteor Suisse, like EDS Corporation, Skyguide, etc. And he's also very motivated for working in multicultural teams, and he's been member of ICAO, different foreign groups, and Eurocontrol groups. So welcome, Mr. Roland, and I'm really honored to have you here today.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to join this webinar and discuss common ideas.
Great. So after the introduction, then let's go directly to the panel discussion. I will just close here the presentation, and I hope that you can all see us here. And I will just ask a very quick question to both of you, Peter and Roland, about all these transitions from AIS to AIM 10, 20, 30, and 40. What would you say that it's the biggest challenge in all these? I mean, we know for a fact that as humans, we don't like changes, right? Do you think that this is something, or do you think that the AIM community is always ready for fighting the worst of the wars? What would you say? Can we start with Peter, please?
Yes. I think the only consistent thing we have really in life, this is change. And when I look back, when I joined the aviation sector, I mean, we had these manual AIS with teletypewriters and these type of things, right? Everything was paper. And since then, we had a lot of change. So I think change is constant. We know it, especially in aviation, and we will have further change. So I wouldn't expect here a big problem that we are not adapting to the required change, because it's needed. More important, I think, and this is also what we're a little bit trying here to support with our idea of this, is it a roadmap, or I don't know really what is the name of this AIS to AIM 4.0, to bring a structure into it, and what is required at what stage, and this also a little bit more on the technical level than we're getting it from ICAO. This is very much helpful. And so I wouldn't be afraid about this, but management is important, and to get the management and the regulator, now I'm talking from the ANSP, AIS side point of view, to get the regulators on board and the management on board, and to allocate the right budget when a new procurement comes, when old systems getting to be decommissioned. So I'm optimistic that we will do it, and we will help, of course.
Thank you. Definitely, I definitely agree with this. What about Roland? What do you think, Roland?
Yes, well, from my personal experience, I have seen that insufficient knowledge of the management on how to address the involved areas of change. So it's not just about technical, about buying a system, it's really about all the aspects of change. And the management has to go into the lead in the whole area. And as Peter mentioned, I would also fully agree the state has to be involved. And I think one of these results has been recognized by ICAO, and in the new 8126, which states can already download the version which you mentioned, I think the version 7, part 1 is going to provide purely guidance to management in all the areas of change that they have to address. I think the operational people are quite aware of that a lot of changes are there, but they need to have their management going into the lead, as Peter said, without the budgets being there, without the state taking care of the framework which is required. All these changes are not going to happen. So it takes quite a lot of players, but I think management here has quite a big responsibility, especially looking at the last 20 years, that what you have shown in your slides with 1.0 and 2.0, where we have taken a decade to work on. I think we're not going to be given the same amount of time for the changes coming now. So I think it's really good that if management recognizes this and goes into the lead and involves their staff and also creates the awareness, I think that will help a lot.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I also agree with your view. And now taking the opportunity of your answer, you both mentioned management, and you also mentioned the state or the regulator involvement. Probably the documented 126 or some other guidelines might be addressing there, might be addressing in that direction. I'm talking about the management and the state involvement. But I believe that this is a very hot and important topic because we have the community, more than 120 participants today here. They all want to know how to do the things. And I believe that the AM community is ready. They are informed. They want to do the things. The problem is management and the state or the regulators' involvement. What would be your advice? I mean, how can we bring them to our game area? How can we convince them? What would be the best strategy? And start Peter again.
Okay, yes, good. Yeah, I think, I mean, the regulation is not new. I mean, we have a lot of regulation, and it's up to the states how they are regulating the aviation sector. I mean, this is clear. Here in Europe, I mean, we have a strong regulation, I would say, from the European Commission. So this is a little bit harmonized in the European Union, but then the other states more or less regulating themselves. And in the regulations, in the aviation regulations, so probably not in all states, so I do not really know all regulations of the world, but you can find a number of regulations already also for the AIS. And I think here also AIS should have an obligation to look in these regulations and to identify, and I think this is important, to identify within the states the responsible regulator for AIS. So not to wait for the regulators, that the regulator comes to the AIS, but it must be two-way. So, and I think that this could be a starting point for someone who has never looked at the regulation. First, identify, is there something in my state? And if yes, who has the responsibility? And start active contact, and then making a plan together. This, I think, is important to do it together. It will only work in a professional relationship to establish it. Yeah, that's probably the point.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I agree also that sometimes ICAO documents are not enough. Yeah, because we can have there in the sense of pushing the management and pushing the authorities of a country. We need a regulation in place. We need legal forms in order to push forward this implementation. As Peter was mentioning, in Europe, we have such a thing, a very important legal framework, which is really pushing in this direction. What do you think, Roland? How can we bring management and authorities in our war zone?
Well, again, from my experience, what I have seen is I think training is a very key aspect. And I'm saying not technical training. It's not about the systems training. It's about understanding the changes, what is happening in the business. I think that's a starting point. And I think you need both parties. You need the state authorities, and you also need to have the management. I have, for example, in the last 3 or 4 years from ITV side, been focusing on such training with other aeronautical aviation institutes around the world, and we have been trying to really focus and address the management, because there is one important thing happening which people are not realizing. ICAO is now transposing the safety framework basically to the AIS environment. We're becoming part of the safety environment, and you need to have a fairly thorough understanding. And again, the manual 8126 in one of the chapters addresses this transposition of the safety aspects into the AIS business. This is of course addressed to the state, but the ANSPs and the other parties in the state have to understand it. So I think training again here is key to it. People always think they can spare the money, but I really think that any training which you invest now is preparing the mindset of the people, the mindset of, and Peter, I think you would agree with me, of the regulators and also of the management, but also of other involved parties like data originators. We need to really capture all the parties in the data chain, and I think creating this awareness can be done by training. And we need to start at a higher level first to understand the change, and then break it down to the levels of the organization. Peter, for example, is involved in supporting managements, also laying out the roadmap, but first you have to have the process of understanding what is actually happening in the business. Where are we targeting? Where are we going? And it's important to recognize all of this is done for the customers. It's not done because we have to do change because the regulation is saying we need to change. ICAO is basically performing the needs of the users, by giving the framework where the users are saying we need to have a transition in this business, we need to go digital, and for achieving this digital transformation, it's not just a change to going digital, it's really a digital transformation. We need to do a lot, and it requires industry, it requires the state and the ANSPs, the other parties, and I think we need to have this joint effort. And in such joint trainings, I feel that the parties can also exchange views amongst the different players. That's another aspect of involving the different stakeholders, that the discussion takes place between these parties, because only with this mutual understanding of everybody's problem, I think you come to a realistic roadmap.
Great.
Yes, I would add one thing, Henry, before you continue, because Roland brought an important thing in the discussion, and this is the customer. So this is the user of all this, what we are doing. So really, this will be the measurement for us in AIS. Is this what we are providing? Is this what the customer really wants? So this is important, and so of course we also need to talk to them and listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, the user perspective is very important here. They are even requiring or demanding from us to have a data of more quality, to be more efficient in the provision of our service. And if I may summarize a bit what Roland was saying, we should make noise. We should create, we should do training, we should do briefings, we should do workshops, because if we are not the ones, if you, AIM community who are there working in the IS units, if you are not taking this responsibility, then no one else will do it. Yeah. Yes. Management, they need to know about the current situation. Management, they need to know what are the requirements, what is the future for this, and then we need to make some noise, invite them to these type of events, create your own events. You can even ask any of us to participate in your internal events in case you're interested in this. So thank you for this.
Just allow me one remark. I think one thing which was mentioned by Peter and by you, I think one excuse cannot be used in future anymore. ICAO has been doing a lot in the last 10 years to actually really support states to do the transformation. And we should all be really very appreciative towards ICAO. We are, of course, all ICAO, but this work which ICAO has been doing and the toolboxes which they are now providing to the states at different levels for different work, I think we now have to start using them. And as you said, using these tools is not automatically given. Training helps a lot here to apply and use these tools. It's not that what ICAO is providing is complicated. They have to follow certain rules which are globally applicable, but the toolboxes are there. We don't have the excuse anymore to say it's not there. They are giving us everything. Now it's time that we really grab all this material, take it, and we start doing this digital transformation.
Great. Thank you very much for this. So I will go quickly through a couple of more questions before we come to the questions from the audience, because I see some of them already in our platform. And I would like to start with focusing on the transition from AIS to AIM 1.0, the first transition, the one from 2013 to 2018. Can I please ask you both to give me a very high level strategy based on your experience or on your knowledge on what would be a very high level strategy in order to transition from AIS to AIM 1.0. We have some of the participants here who are still in AIS, meaning manual products. So the question is, what would be these very high level items or points as for a strategy in order to reach this goal of AIM 1.0? We start now with Roland, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Peter, you're first, or?
No, you should start. This is what Henry said. So we're switching.
Well, I have a very simple solution to this. I think you have to address 5 areas which are in control of your organizations. That's people, process, platform, data, and infrastructure. But an Air Force pilot once told me something, and I think I have until today memorized that sentence. And that's why I'm basically, the advice that I give is basically saying prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. That's the way an airport pilot put it to me. And I think this change requires a lot of, how do you say, preparation. You can't just jump into it and start in one corner doing a little bit of infrastructure or doing a little bit of process or a little bit of people. You have to really look at the big picture. And I think this prior preparation is very important. If you can't do it with your own resources, then there are resources on the market like us here, which can help you in there, and you can basically pick and choose the support that you need. But prior preparation, from my point of view, is absolutely key if you want to have success here. Without this preparation, I think you're going to see small bits and pieces being realized, but you're not going to see the big picture changing.
Okay, yes. Very good. That preparation should be part of the strategy.
Yes. And when you make your plan, or when you have made your plan, which is the preparation finally, think after you have prepared your plan, think how you are going to measure that you have achieved your goals. This is quite important. So not to have an open-ended of something. And even, I mean, here we're talking about the semi-automation, right? This is this phase. I'm mixing the phases still, but this the semi-automation. Look, what do I need to achieve at the end of such a phase? This is maybe to add. So this is again this process thinking. It's not new, no? But to know. I don't use the word a key performance indicator, but it is something like this, no? But this is maybe not really yet established in the area here. But check your work, no?
And always check with your customers. I think that's something very important. We always forget the customer, even in this small step from if you go from 1.0 to 2.0, don't forget the customer. Take the customer on board. The customer realizes that we can't do everything in one go, but do try and get improvements out for the customer, because the customer is the one who is finally paying for all these services, and he has the right somehow to know where is this journey going.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with this. So the typical, just to give you my point of view, the typical approach that we follow in this strategy from going from paper directly to something else, it's in accordance with what you are saying. We follow a project management. We train the people first in these new technologies, then we create a project. This project is run by these people, and then these same people who are trained from the beginning, they are the ones in charge of evaluation of the systems and also training the colleagues later on, and all written in a specified with very detailed planning. So let's move now then to AIM 2.0, which in a way it's a bit mixed up with AIM 1.0, because when you are in AIM 1.0, you have probably bought already a system which is able to handle a database in order to create your products. And this same system, probably it has the capability of exchanging data, but it's there. I mean, it's unused, or you're not at the moment exchanging data with no one. So this is the current stage where we are in AIM 2.0, where we need to extract the data in the form of digital data sets and also exchange it. So moving now to AIM 2.0, what do you think is the biggest challenge here? We are at this stage right now. Now let's go to Peter.
Yeah, I think indeed, I mean, I would say all the systems which were bought and put into operational use over the last 20 years, or at least 10 years, have the capability of exporting data. And so technically, this is, I would say, more or less solved. We have some details still to solve, but we shouldn't talk about them. But I think more important is when you think about data exchange between parties, states, ANSPs, or between an AIS and users, airports, airlines, or similar entities. The question is what to exchange and why to exchange. So what is needed, who needs what, and what shall be provided by the AIS. And then to think about the structure, the frequency, probably is the ERAC cycle and things like this. So, but again, planning, talking to data originators, getting something structured, so what structure, and then also talking to your users. Some are happy still with the AIP or the EAIP, others are prepared to take your data as a pure data already, but again, planning what, and because it's obviously on, I haven't seen it really in the past that someone is interested in the whole AIP as a data set, something like this. But so start small, talk to your, and so to say, next intended user, and then start implementing this, what the next intended user really needs in sense of data or for data exchange. It's maybe not in this case a data exchange with the next intended user. Data exchange is between the AISs, but here's the same question: cross-border data between AISs. So it's still a big issue to solve cross-border data. Gets a little bit lesser problematic in the free root airspace. There's not so much, but still we have this. But this would be also what I have in mind to talk about in this data exchange part here we are talking about.
All right. Thank you, Peter. What do you think about this, Roland?
Well, from my point of view, I think one of the most important things is that AIS must start focusing on data and information services instead of products and the traditional stuff. I think you already have to start at this stage, which means it's not sufficient just to stay at the level of the AIS environment. You have to go back to the data originator. You'll have to look at the whole data chain. You have to look at all the aspects. ICAO is giving you wonderful tools like the data catalog, establishing the data catalog at state level, looking at the originators, who are the originators, making sure that the data quality requirements are defined. So there's a lot of work to be done. And if you don't start preparing this at this stage, at the later stages, you're going to face a bill which is probably going to be higher than just looking at the systems that you have currently put in place. The systems help you where you are, but you must really go back to data collection, to the data originator, and really focus at what is important on that side. And you must engage them. They are also parties. Basically, as an AIS, you are an aggregator at state level. Industry has other aggregators who are doing this as industry players, aggregating different states' data for the avionics system. But at the state level, I think the aggregators of that information must go back to their sources, which they have at the state level, and sort out all the problems associated, not just the technical ones. This goes from formal arrangements, this goes from a lot of stuff, and again here, training, and again training.
Awareness everywhere, yes. Okay, so it seems that we are running late. Unfortunately, I mentioned this at the beginning. We have a lot of content, and maybe we're going to stay here for 15 to 20 more minutes if you bear with us. Remember that we have the winners of the raffle at the end. And now I would like to ask my colleague Oliver to come on screen and let us know if there is any question that it's convenient right now to be answered.
Right. So I chose actually 4 questions from the public. The first one will be from Ralph. Where would AIM services for drone service providers and air taxi providers fit into any AIM X.0? So what do you guys think? What would you put these services in this AIM 1.0, 2.0?
Which are the services? Can you say again?
The services are AIM drone services, service providers, and air taxis providers.
Oh, interesting question. If I may start, because I was the one introducing what are the characteristics of the different stages of AIS. These might actually correspond to AIM 3.0. And I will tell you what, right now we are in AIM 2.0, which is actually the main concept here is to exchange digitally our data. The next step is 3.0, which is actually the same concept, exchange the data, but in the stream environment, and also considering these new concepts of UTM, unmanned traffic management, and also high airspaces, and also air taxis, because air taxis will also be in the same, let's say, categorization as UTM. So this is or unmanned traffic or drones. So in my opinion, this is AIM 3.0. I hope that we have answered Ralph correctly.
Right.
So,
I have one more question from Hanan. He makes actually a comment in regards to AIM 3.0 and 4.0. And he says that if we really want to reach that level, we have to start preparing different type of training and request different skills, knowledge, and background, which is, I think, one of the things you were really mentioning during your discussion. He also adds at the end that most of the difficulties and obstacles for AIS migration are financial related, either training or purchasing new systems. And how do you think this could be solved?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, anyone, you, Peter or Roland, would like to take that one?
Oh, if you want, I can start answering that one.
Just start, Roland.
I think Peter will agree with me again. It's about awareness. If management, who has the budget? Who is responsible for the change? The people who are responsible for the change, they have to make sure that they understand the developments. How are the customer needs changing? What do they have to do to make their business fit for the future so that they can meet the customer needs which are approaching? If management does understand this, they will make sure that all the parties get the training. It also involves the state. I'm not just talking about the ANSP. This can be inspectors at the state level. This can be AIS management. So we have different levels where people have to engage. I think the big picture is we need to have different stakeholders in the data chain who have to engage to develop this awareness. And if they do not develop the awareness, they will not get the budgets. How do you say? Basically, of course, they have to guess the budgets, but they have to put out the budgets out there. How can this transformation happen? And without the budgets, nothing is going to happen. And I think that's the big problem that I hear from many AISs. And I think it's do your homework, prepare and do your homework at state level, at ANSP level. I think you need to collaborate.
Yeah, anything else to complement, Peter?
Yeah, maybe to add, for me personally, there's always what I call internal budget and external budget. So the internal budget is for the internal training. So I think we need to extend it ab initio training. And I think one of the participants here said something, we need more training. So, but this is an ab initio training. This has nothing to do with system procurement. And then you need an external budget buying you a new system when the time comes. And this is a different type of training and start with the first one. And I think this is quite important to understand the concepts. But now I think we started repeating ourselves, right? We're always saying the same here. But to say maybe the point internal, external, and not relate the ab initio internal training to system procurements. This is also what I have seen around the world in the last years. You got only a training budget because you got a new system. This will definitely not be enough. I mean, we know this, but this is a message I would really like to transmit.
And again, if I may be able to say something which is free of charge, is that ICAO again is addressing a lot of the competencies issues in this new 8126, where the competencies are getting high level attention. They have been aligned with other areas of ICAO, like with pilot and ATCOs. And if management looks at those competencies very carefully, for which they are responsible for their staff to make sure that people are adequately trained when they perform their duties, I think that will make it fairly clear what has to be done. So ICAO gives quite some good guidelines in the new documentation here on how to address these competencies for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Hanan, as well. If I may also complement a bit this, I will say, and I will come back to the same message I had as before, make some noise, because only by making some noise, the management will be aware what it needs, and they will look for the budget. Believe me, I mean, it's if millions of euros or dollars are expended every year in aviation, yeah, in navigates, etc. We're asking only for investment in these systems now, which might represent a very good investment, but we deserve it right now. We deserve it, and we are in the process. And if we are not, then all these changes will just come directly onto us without not being prepared, and we must be prepared because this is actually coming, and digitalization is there in front of us. So Oliver, do we have a last one? Because
one last question, one very last question also from Ralph. Is there any attempt to provide a document to AIM stakeholder or management that tackles already existing AIS or AIM staff assessment, and thereafter it's transferred into any AIM X.0 stage and actual usage training of the existing staff? So I think, if I understand your question, Ralph, what you're asking is there any kind of document that allows to assess an AIM staff, categorize it into AIM X.0, and then have like a, let's say, work plan on how to reach new levels, right?
And if I may point who has the answer, I would say that Roland, because he has actually worked for the training manual for AIM.
Yeah. Well, again, this is a joint collaborative work. I'm also a member in the training task force, where I'm supporting ICAO in preparing the new training manual. And in the new training manual, I think you will be given the methodology on how to address this. So it's not going to be a finished training which you get, which says exactly this and this and this is what you have to do, but you're given the whole methodology similar to what is done on the ADCO side on training organizations, how to develop appropriate training material to address exactly these questions which you have just addressed. Of course, the 8126 has parts, but in addition, there is the quality manual coming for AIS and AIM, and we also have the AIM training manual coming, which ICAO is going to submit in due time. I mean, the work is still being finalized, but I can tell you ICAO is doing a lot to prepare exactly to address these questions here and support organizations in helping them to address this kind of change, assess the current competencies and the new competencies required. And then, of course, the training organizations always locally have to develop the concept, because in every state you will probably have different situations which need to be adapted for each organization separately, or each state even.
Okay, thank you, Ralph, and also thank you, Roland, for your answer. Yeah, definitely we have the AIM training manual, which will be there, but it's important to know that this manual will only give you a structure to follow to develop your own trainings,
methodology,
and also to assess your staff. It won't do the work for us, unfortunately. You know, in order to do that, yes, you need to address or to build up on trainers within your organization, or to come with companies like our companies who've been here in the market and who can also support you with these challenges. I don't think we have more time, because it's really late now. Is there anything? What do you think, Oliver?
There's one more question from Anand, but for Peter, I think I will assign it to you, Peter, and then you can answer if you want from GoToWebinar, and that's it.
Thank you very much. Yes, you may also continue writing your questions. We don't have time right now, unfortunately, but we are going to take note of this, and then we might come back to you via email to respond to these questions. So thank you, Oliver. Then we're about to close the panel session with Peter and Roland. I just would like to ask Peter and Roland to give us some final words. What would be your message to the AIM community in order how to successfully reach all these different stages of AIM?
Shall I start?
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Not easy. Not easy question. But I would say simply keep going. Heads up. Make your plan, and as we said, collaboration with all stakeholders, especially with the users. They will tell you. I mean, I'm not talking about the NOTAM initiative and the problems with the NOTAM, but this is one of the examples. And then I would add one attribute to making noise: make nice noise. This is yeah.
Excellent.
Over to you, Roland. Right?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to say that our three companies, when we started preparing this idea, one of our backgrounds was to decompose the complexity of the changes which are there. I think it was really important for us. Of course, we came up with a simplified version of these different transitional steps. And as Henry mentioned, we are not ICAO, we are not Eurocontrol, we are not others, but we have tried to decompose this with an industry view. What are the steps which we believe? And there will definitely be a lot of discussion in future, at future IFIMA meetings or other meetings, where we will discuss these steps here. And hopefully, by engaging into this discussion and getting a common picture, we're all able to work into the same direction. I think it really requires this joint effort, and as Peter said, a collaboration. We need to have the states players on board. We need to have the other players in the data chain on board. But only this collaboration and this interaction will definitely help to go there. And I think with your webinars here, you're doing a perfect kind of footage for those out there who are trying to understand the complexity of this change.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you both participating in this event. It's an honor for us to have you guys here with such a lot of experience and also with the intention of helping the community, because this is also our intention here, to bring you some debate, some discussion, some contents that can support us. So we are also trying to help you in these challenges that we have in this AIS, AIM implementation. And we hope that this community continues growing up, and that we are also providing you or supporting you a little bit in this process. So thanks again, Peter and Roland. We're really happy to have you today here, and we are actually expecting that this is not the first one. Probably we'll have the opportunity in next time. And I will just repeat very important messages that you brought. And I remember that you said that the only constant is change, which is important to me. We need to keep going. Another important thing is that ICAO documents are not enough. We need to have a regulatory framework. Additionally, that we need to make some noise, and also very nice noise. Yeah, that's those are the final words and messages that I have for you. So see you next time, Peter and Roland. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Oliver.
Thank you. No.
Then just we're coming to our last session, our last part of our webinar. I believe and I hope that you are able to see. So I will just leave here for a few seconds. You can also review or recap this video later, because these are the coordinates where you can get Peter and Roland. You can send them an email or find them in their correspondent mobile phones, in case you would like to have continue talking with them or having more support from their side. All right, so full time. Come back, Oliver, please.
Yes, I'm on it. So the question is, what would you say are or were the main obstacles in implementation of AIM 1.0 in your organization? And you can select many of these. We have lack of staff training, lack of management awareness, lack of supporting material, lack of resources like time, financial, etc., or lack of an appropriate regulatory framework. So we are collecting responses right now, and we are reaching 15% of participation. I will give you 10 more seconds, so if you want to join this poll, please do it now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I will share with you the results. So for the majority, almost 75%, the main obstacle is the lack of resources, followed by the lack of staff training and lack of management awareness.
Thank you, Oliver. And I think we can go directly to poll number 2 this time.
Yep. So next poll is, what would you say are the main obstacles in the implementation of AIM 2.0 in your organization? Here again, you can select many: lack of staff training, lack of management awareness, lack of supporting material, lack of resources, or lack of an appropriate regulatory framework. So again, reaching 50% of participation, and I'm going to give you 5 more seconds, and closing the poll and sharing with you the results right now. So here again, the main obstacle seems to be the lack of resources, followed by the staff training.
Okay, thank you for this, Oliver. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that the resources. It's actually one of the challenges, which is the obstacles that we have during this transition. Okay, so it's late, of course. Sorry about this. We still have 10 more minutes before we finish, and I will just quickly go through a presentation, 2 slides about our tip of the day. Our tip of the day, you might perhaps some of you recognize or come to your brain an idea of what you have there in screen. Maybe some of you are familiar, maybe not. But what you see there, it's a picture related to Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is a TV series which is very famous. But I'm not referring here to the series as such, but they were in the whole series talking about an expression which was actually used all along the series, which is actually "the winter is coming." That expression, "the winter is coming," was kind of creating fears and uncertainty in all the different characters, because they knew that something was coming, a new era that will bring with it new challenges. So in the same way, I would like to bring you this message to all of you, and I would like to tell you that data exchange is coming. Yeah, the same way that all these people or characters in Game of Thrones were, by listening to this expression, "winter is coming," they knew that a new era was coming, and that they had to be prepared. In the same way, we need to be prepared for this data exchange. We know that the ICAO requirements are there for the digital data sets, and then we must hurry up now, because we are in the time where in AIM 2.0, where this data exchange will come. At the moment, officially, we only have the delivery of the products like the AIP and NOTAMs, but in the future, these digital data sets will become also mandatory, and then we will say that data exchange is also with us, and please be prepared. So we come with the last poll, Oliver.
Right. So the last poll is, which of the following subjects would you like to know more in a future webinar? And we have AXM general overview, data visualization and tools, basic model principles, AIM digital products overview, development and future changes. Well, if you ask me, Henry, I'm more like a visual guy here, and for me, dealing with data is very difficult, and I really like to see it visualized in a tool. So I really will go here for data visualization and tools. What about you?
Yeah, I also agree. I like data visualization or some digital products as well. But this visualization is important. You know what? Because we cannot really see data, but we have some tools now. I mean, data is 1 and 0s in a computer, but AIXM data, nautical data is able. We have some tools, and it would be interesting to see what the community says, if they are interested in having a webinar about data visualization.
Let's see. So we have a participation of more than 50%, and closing and sharing out the results with you. And we were really close there, Henry. But the main, The one with the most votes is the AIM Digital Products Overview.
Okay.
I think we already did one webinar of this topic, right?
Yes, last time it was actually about digital data sets. Maybe we can have it from a different perspective. But I'm happy to see that the second one here in the list is data visualization. This might be important, and I will come now. I will come later with some announcement. Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you.
All right, so now we will do very quick announcements. I don't know if my friend Oscar Centeno would like to join us here, so just to say hello and give us a quick update on this.
Here I am, Henry. So thank you very much for the nice discussions you have been conducted. Thank you also to Oliver, to Roland and Peter. It was very interesting and it was a pleasure to be there. I must say that for this last question, I am more with the majority and I'd like digital a little bit more than visualizing, but I agree with Oliver. Visualizing is also very nice and it's a very good way to see what we are doing with the data when we are working with this. So coming to the training, which it was also, by the way, one of the main aspects that were selected from the participants when they needed to express what do they think in the future. It will be important also to transition to different versions of AIM. So training, it's a big part of our daily work as well in GroupEAD. We have, of course, upcoming virtual trainings and seminars. We are still in the virtual mode, and one day we will come back to the presential mode, which is fine, but still we are doing virtual and we will keep on doing them. So we have some coming in mainly for autumn, air navigation for AS, AXM 5.1 for managers and decisions makers, and our normal AXM 5.1 courses, some evolution for AS to AM towards swim, and then terrain and obstacle data. This is what we have already scheduled, but of course it's important to just keep informed and follow us in the different profiles we have in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and also checking our website and sometimes our emails. For any contact, of course, we are there for you, for any question you may have, and of course we will answer you. This is the address email for training, where you can find me and you can find also Oliver, and we will take care about your questions and doubts. And just one last thing, Henry, I am quite happy when I think that winter is coming, because in this part of the world today is quite warm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
now summer is here, and we wish winter to come because it's too hot. I agree, Oscar. Thank you very much.
After the summer holidays, not yet.
Thank you, Oscar. It was a pleasure to have you here. Quick more announcements, and that is that we already have a date for our next webinar. This is the 6th of October. Save the date. And this is going to be about viewing and validating AIXM data free, fast, and easy. So if you felt a little bit pushed or influenced by our comments, please don't take us wrong. It was because we have already planned our next webinar. We're coming here with an important guest who will show us what are these tools that allows us to see aeronautical data, including AIXM, but more, even stream data. And it's even free, so don't miss the opportunity. So we also have another event in Madrid, the 26th and 28th of October. We have the World ATM. Hopefully this in this occasion we'll have the opportunity to meet you there. We are participating. At the moment, everything is confirmed that the event will take place. So we are all looking forward to see you there if you're participating. Actually, it's here in our home in Madrid, so for us it's really easy to see there, and it would be our pleasure to see you there, to join if you could join us. All right, and I know that many of you were waiting that long because of this to announce what is the prize and also who are the winners for our raffle. And let me show you for the first time which was actually this prize that we wanted to send you. It's nothing else than a nice mug and a nice cup with some logos there and indicating that you participated in this global virtual event. We know that it was virtually this event, as this webinar is right now. It's a virtual event, but we are really happy to share with you something which is physical. So this mug will go to many countries around the world, especially those of you who participated in the raffle. It's going to all different countries, and then you see there the list: Luis Uncapa, Lia, Aristides, Jorge, Janice, Maria, Eduardo, Abuasi, Jonas, Matias, Marcus, Jean-Philippe, Trevor, Stephen, Sharon, Maurice, John, Mahendra, Daniel, Fongmi, Ajab, Alexis, Ian, Ashat, Margaret, Barbara, Franklin. If you're any of this, let us know in the questions or in the chat, and we'll be happy to know that you stayed here until the end. If you're not one of these and you know some of them, then in some days they will be receiving their mugs and cups. So go there and ask them to show you the cups. Yeah. Okay, so thanks again for your patience. We really appreciate the interest from the community. We ask you to continue supporting us by participating in these events, by subscribing to our channel, sharing comments. You know that we're doing this all for free with the whole intention of bringing quality content of enough quality to the community, so we can also support you in the process, in your pursuit of going from AIS to AIM 1020, etc. You can also write us to events@groupead.com or info@groupead.com, and finally you can contact us in any place in our webpage. And you know that we have an office in Madrid and another one in Germany. You can call us, you can write us. We'll be there to support you. Thanks again for your participation. I would like to leave Oscar the opportunity to say goodbye, and also Oliver, if you are there. So thank you very much again for all the people for participating. See you in the next one, when we are going to talk about viewing AXM data free, fast, and easy. Oscar, we can hear you.
Thank you. Well, then thank you very much for participating, and we are very looking forward to the next webinar.
Yeah, thank you both, Henry and Oliver, for the organization and for doing it. And again, thank you to Roland and Peter. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye.
See you in the next one.